Hello and welcome to episode number 1 of the Voice to Heal podcast, which is 2 new shows. One is the historical military abuse and trauma, which has already been recorded. And this is the next series, episode 1 of Get Real and Feel. And I'm holding space today with these beautiful souls with me. We have Michael, Marinella, Kenneth, and Chris, who were all guided to come and hold space. And we don't know what's going to be revealed today. So this is going to be new and exciting. Just know that this is actually bringing in new unity energies through the human in voicing, being held here today for advanced souls and forerunners, and to anybody that comes across this, to let you know that you are advancing. The fact that you can even see this and hear this is a credit to you for everything that you've been through. And I will share factually, for factual sake, that this is the highest vibration. 10th dimensional is the highest vibration we can reach in the human body in this lifetime. So that gives you an indication. So thank you everyone for joining. Kenneth, you came and messaged me and you asked me to come on your podcast.
I did.
And I've done a flip around.
Yeah.
And said to you, what good timing, because I also am feeling I need to purge and voice to heal and share my spiritual story, for whatever that is. I don't know if it's a spiritual story, my journey of what it took to get here and some of the things that I've been through. And then you messaged me at the same time. And then it came to have Michael join and Marinella and Chris. And this has organically grown to this beautiful group of souls. So, Kenneth, you said to me you're reaching out because you were truly inspired by me and my work. I find that hard to read that sometimes. And my unique perspective and insights have resonated deeply with you for a while. So 2017, I looked
I just did too. Yep.
Yeah. Did you want to expand on that at the moment a little bit more? Is anything coming at the moment for you with this introduction?
Looking at the date of 2017, it was confirmation of that was a big pivotal year in my journey, in my awakening. It was during like the solar eclipse, and just a lot of shifts happened in my personal world. And then I don't even know how we became connected on media, but I've just been consumed ever since and just very inspired. I went to as far to even call you a mentor before to people over the years, just because your your sharings have helped me a lot over the years, for sure. So I'm honored.
It goes both ways.
Thank you.
It goes both ways. So if I was going to come on your podcast, what would you have asked me?
I'm curious about how you talk about linking the soul to the spirit and how you would maybe define that in a digestible way.
That's it. He's asked the biggest question first, everybody. That's taken 20 to 30 years. Like, don't hold back, Kenneth. Don't start small. Let's just dive right into, because that is the crux, linking soul to spirit.
Yeah.
Feeling through our emotions and our heart, consciously being aware of what we're feeling is number one. And this is something that many are still in the process of reaching. To feel takes bravery and is more than just these words that I'm saying now. Marinella, did you want to add anything here at this point?
Yeah, it really is about doing the work and being in the moment and really feeling into a real depth of our souls. And it's not pretty, because you do go through a lot and there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of hurt. And there's a lot of realizations that comes with this. Now it's easier to pull away from feeling. That's where the hard work is. You're exactly right, is the feeling. And that's how we get to the soul.
And okay, what's happening at the moment? What makes this different, Kenneth, is anyone can say these words. And what's happening at the moment is there are many, and I'm going to be a bit brave and gutsy and say this, and I say this in a positive way, that there are not many enlightened souls. There's a lot of souls thinking and talking, yet the feeling and embodying is, there's a lot of people that are emotionally bypassing.
Yeah.
So, okay, big shift happening. Wow. I just have to take a moment. It's Chris, is there anything you want to share at the moment?
For sure. I know for me, the true linking of the spirit to soul is through the emotions, and there's no other way around it, you know, because what I see, like, especially to expand on what you were saying, Anastasia, like, I'll just say it as it is, you know, in the ascension community, we all have you know, traveled and immersed, you know, across that whole plane, you know, and you find a lot of good information in there, but there's a lot of things that's just that information, you know, because a lot of people can put things in a very beautiful way with beautiful words, but when it comes to embodying them, that's where you see the disconnect. And so
Yeah.
that's where I feel that's the true link, because the true work is in the emotions, you know, that's the feeling, and that's where everybody dodges, because it's sometimes such a, it's not always enlightening or light and rainbows, you know, it's sometimes tough and down in the muck, you know. And so that's the biggest part, you know, of it is in, and like I say, in the human linking spirit to soul is that, because a lot of the times you also see many people often just talking about the astrals or what's going on in spirit beyond the human, and it's, we're here to be in the human, to ground that, all of that into this plane here, you know, to change this world as it is in humanity, starting with
Thank
ourselves
you.
firstly.
Thank you. Is there anything you want to share with that, Kenneth? Or are you happy for me to continue with something that's just come?
Please do share what you have.
I was asked this question years ago, Kenneth, about, I've waited so long to speak now, Marinella. We were talking before we came on, weren't we? And you said to me, do you remember, Stasia? And I said, actually, I sort of do, but I don't, because I find myself on a brand new platform this year with introducing the podcast. It's sort of like I have a little bit of amnesia because I've spent 20, 30 years working inwards consciously, that I can let all that go. So it's not as if I've lost my memory. It's just that that was a whole different platform. So for me to recall some of the things from the past, I actually have to pause, stop, recall from my massive library of 30 years experience and bring that information forward. So Marinella, you said to me, remember, Stasia, we were talking, can you pick up from that, what we were talking before?
Yeah, well, a couple of years ago, you had asked me to interview you, or could we do something together where I would ask you questions and about your life. And I went through and I've actually found some of the notes and, you know, questions just to get to know you and the way you live your life. You live it so organically and you live in such unconditional love, and you're just such an example. I've just got to be careful. I get a bit emotional because I get so deep. And there's just such a purity about you, which for me, I've always learnt from, and I can see so many around you have learnt from. And yeah, and the notes were just beautiful. And I just remembered, I said, geez, this has been in the making for 2 years. So congratulations that we're all here, and this is the vision that I got. Remember, I got that vision of us all around you.
You got together. The what?
I got a vision of all of us together with that picture that we've set up.
Yes, when people see the podcast, the picture
Yeah.
for this. Yes, that was the vision that Marinella saw, because a lot of your stuff you get through the visions and the astrals, and the secret is grounding and bringing and anchoring those information, the energies in, is where a lot of people struggle. So Marinella, thank you, because I'm now going to shift to something I wrote quite a few years ago, Kenneth, and I wrote, you have two powerful energy sources to draw from and protect, which is your spirit and soul. And the question has been asked, which I'm grateful for, of, can I explain what I mean by linking our spirit to our soul? So a lot of, in relation to what you've asked and what Marinella was just saying, is I've been living 20 years ahead of time with the spiritual information landing to the planet firstly. That's the first thing I want to share. That is a lot, and that is a big deal in the sense of what it has taken to cope with getting information 20 years ahead. A lot of the writing that I wrote back from 10 years plus is relevant for now. So you can see that I've moved on so much, so far ahead, that I've had to actually come back to hold these podcasts while people are still finding their way to 5D and beyond. So Kenneth, did you want to ask anything about that in particular? Because that's a big deal. It has taken a lot to understand and to grow into. It's taken 30 years to grow into that.
Yeah. I remember that was one of the first things that I resonated with all those years ago. I think that 2017 is what we said when we connected, was the way that you used your words, of course, but like the way that you were able to embody the higher dimensions into a lower dimension, not like saying that word, but like in a way that I could like actually understand, because it's always been hard for me to communicate. Yes.
Because I brought it from spirit to soul through my physical experiencing, embodying, anchoring, grounding, because the energies come in spirit, soul, mental, emotional, physical. And what, as a grandmaster, ascension, pioneer, and trailblazer, firstly, as a template for all of humanity. Now, listen to these words, people, as a template, a human body template is the only way, Kenneth, I was able to write, because it's all from above. We say me, but we're really on the vessel, bringing through the words directly from source spirit. That is pure divine unconditional love. And it's very challenging to live in that light and that energy when you've got traumas, and then you chose a life. I chose a life to come in and join the military and go through that abuse that created rules in new legislation in Australia for all women in the Army, Air Force and Navy, 3 first as a female trailblazer. So actually, not only am I trailblazer spiritually in bringing through new energies to the planet and putting words to what has never had words put to is the key. And it was through personally experiencing them. My life has been writing these updates and then the videos. Michael, my beautiful partner of 20 years, was doing everything. Haven't been able to cook for years. I'm unable to do anything. All my energy was living purely to write. And 2017 was the biggest year of living my life 24/7. Thank you for saying, I just recalled it. I often say in my private group that 2017 was a big year. I remember when that year was done, I lived just to write. So everything that was written was mud, blood, sweat, tears, PTSD, past life, all my personal experiences, shared it all. It was gifted. The videos then came about 4 years ago, all a living, divine, healing energies, gifted. I could write multiple books. That wasn't my journey. Well, I had to be kept behind the scenes to be protected. And it's gifted. So no one could say, I can't afford it, because that's bullshit. That's 3D. When you're meant to do, it's about abundance, not money. It's not about the money. It's about the abundance and the energy and believing. Yeah, I know. I just sang that. Was it okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks. Anyway, so So that question was asked. Is there anything you wanted to share there at all, Kenneth? Because I've got more to read from and share. Did you want to say anything about it, what I just shared? Because it was a lot.
I don't think so. It makes sense though, because of course there's so many gurus and sharers out there, but at that time, I'm very skeptical. So like I don't just take anyone's
Good.
energy or words or anything in, but something about yours, and I think it was you and Lisa Transcendence Brown was like my top two, just like everything you guys were sharing, I'm just like, yes, yes. And it's so yeah, that's all I have to
She
say
was
about
the
that.
one. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I can feel you glowing from here. I can see your joy and bliss oozing out. I also was, she was beautiful. Lisa was some of the writings that I was drawn to as well. Celia
Yes.
Fenn and Energy Synthesis are the main ones that I resonate to. Shekinah, yes, for the Blu-rays, Shekinah Rose. They are the top energies for the planet. I say that in respect and love to all that bring through what they do. However, I'm just going to leave that. I'm just going to leave that there. There's no need to go into that anymore. You need to discern for yourself, people, is all I will say.
Yes.
And there's more to than all the courses. One thing I want to get this out now. And it's not in negativity. It's to shine a light on that. Spiritual courses are a dime a dozen nowadays. People are using, oh my gosh. Now, the words that people are using on, and this is again, no judgment. There's no room for judgment. We don't have the right to judge anybody or anything, okay? That the writing of what they're putting in the courses and everything is better than I could write, Kenneth. And I'm the real deal. I've been here for 30 years working behind the scene. Their writing is the most beautiful, and the website, it's just phenomenal. Yet the amount of souls that are embodying and feeling consciously behind the scenes that are actually embodying this, none, basically. Very, very, most are enlightened is all. I just want to say that once and shift that out of the way. I don't like to focus on that, but that is the reality.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with AI on the rise right now, it's hard to know what is really authentic.
You could
But
actually,
if you're in tune with yourself, you know, you can tell.
You took the words out of my mouth. When you feel, you can feel the difference. Because I was reading something that someone I wrote, I get a glimpse of a good bit and then something doesn't gel. I get a glimpse of something good and then I went, oh, that was AI written. Made sense because I didn't feel it fully. So this is more so for people needing to feel consciously. So Chris or Michael, Marinella, did you guys want to add anything at this point?
I was just going to say it shows the vitalness of the feeling and the being conscious in the moment and the gut feeling. We've all got gut feelings, and you know within yourself when something's real. You know within yourself when something is right. And you also know if something's not right. Listen to it. My advice would be listen.
Slow it down.
My advice would be to listen to your intuition.
And to slow it down, to be able to listen. The pre-step. That's why I just didn't want to talk over you. I just wanted to throw in and to slow it down, take a breath, and then do that. So the pre-step to that is to breathe and slow down. Now, everybody knows the words, but who's actually physically doing it? 100% in what you said, Marinella. It's always back to basics, always back to basics. So when I say our spirit, linking our spirit to our soul, when I say our spirit, I'm referring, Kenneth, this is in the answer to what you asked, I'm referring to your spiritual self, which is like another you in the astrals and multi-dimensions, that is linked to your higher self, okay? So picture you in the human, you got you in an outline of your body here, then picture another you, because this is the below, and then picture above you another outline of a body, albeit an ethereal one, and this is the above. And this is what I mean when I say your spirit. Now, when I share about linking our soul and spirit, the key here is, and that's why we spoke before, through our emotions. This is the clincher. Now, I am the only person on the planet bringing this through, linking our soul to our spirit, apart from another soul in Australia, Inna Siegel, I think her name is. She is also bringing something through to the planet. Firstly, she actually wrote that, linking soul to spirit. So I know that there's no one else bringing this through. Okay, so let me continue. Okay, so our spiritual soul, our spirit, this is the person that you are and the person that you will become when you are no longer physical, is your spirit. It's your non-physical essence of the you that you know as yourself. It is you without a physical body that is free from time and space. And then we've got the next link upward is our higher self. This is a part of you that exhibits and possesses all of your best and most proficient qualities. It is a person you can evolve into from your present perspective. And this self is a being that is both separate and part of you. However, for argument's sake and clarification, we can say that your higher self is what you will become in the future when you complete your evolving in the physical development system. Stay with me here, because the last step in the chain brings us to the monad. And it's a direct aspect of the energy you know of as God. Now, your monad supplies you with the life force, love, and attention you need to maintain your existence, and ultimately responsible for your evolution within the body of God. Your monad watches make sure all of your other aspects of your being work in harmony toward that one goal. And your monad is one shade away from God, and one aspect of God that makes you, your spirit, your higher self, and your soul uniquely you. Many people have felt the love from their monad, and in those moments of desperation, when all hope seems gone and the end seems near, this force is like a sweeping, all-powerful love that seems to come from within, but it is bright and strong enough to break free of the body and encompass the energy that you are aware of, that is you. Now, this writing was from an old, I've blended my knowledge and my experiences with, that was written from Wisdom's Door that explained it beautifully. It's important to give credit when we gain something from someone else, because this is, we're getting to it, Kenneth. We can have two souls, our human and our spiritual. Your eyes just lit up then. The being, the inner self, the monad has two souls. The first is the spiritual soul. The second is the human soul. Okay. So what happened was, a long time ago, Kenneth, give me a second, please. That was a lot to bring that through. I just need to take a pause for a minute. Did anyone feel to share anything? Whew, that was a lot to bring that information through embodying. I'm just pausing to bring that through, because I can feel you're feeling this.
I'd like to hear from Michael. What do you got to say?
What I got to say first is got to find the unmute button. There it is. Linking the emotions to the soul, and there's two souls. Yes, you need to do it. And what you'll find is your emotional body, because that's what we're talking about. Emotions go to the emotional body, can sometimes have a crust from the soul, like mine, for example. And Anastacia told me the other day that my soul or spirit cut off the emotions because of the abuse I was getting with my family and whatever. And when I got married, probably happened as well. for a long time. So I'm still going through those emotions, dark night of the soul. And that's why we all go through dark night of the soul, because we go into the emotions. We've got to confront. I don't know if you say confront. It's going to confront you. It's going to confront me. And then you have a decision to make. If you want to move through, or you just go back into the mental or your mind. Okay, so there's also a mind body, but your physical mind. And Kenneth, that's when you talk about all these beautiful writings. I've seen a lot of beautiful writings, people who present well. I see it in the work life. They're great. They're directors. They're really good. Do they really know anything? That's where the feeling comes. Am I still on track? I'm thinking.
Yep. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will find these gurus because that's what they're after. And the first thing is they'll go into the head, because that's 3D. And they'll say, this is great, I feel great. And they might feel great for a while until the emotions come up and they got to confront it. And with the moving of the energies on the earth now, that's going to happen faster and faster, is what I'm seeing. It's happened to me pretty quick. We went on holidays for 3 nights. The first day, one day I did 4 days of releasing in one day. And then the last day I did another 4 days of releasing in 2 hours.
We needed a holiday from our holiday, didn't we?
Well, the good thing about that is now happening fast for us, really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm accepting that and embracing it and working through it. And who knows what's going to come up next year. But I'm going with the flow.
Yes.
And then Anastacia reminds me, Michael, why are you doing that? What are you thinking? And because she puts my mind onto what she's getting that I'm thinking, I can release it straight away.
Being the link, helping you get in touch with
Yeah.
that till you can take over yourself, which you're starting to take over yourself.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
So yes, people can read all this and it's really good, but then they need to work on it. And what these other people who follow gurus is not working on it. As Marinella said, you got to follow yourself. You got to listen to your emotions, your intuition, which is your I forgot my train of thought then.
Which is good.
It is good.
You're just-
Imagination. Imagination is a part of your intuition. And that's why I have dreams. That's why Marinella has dreams. And we could say in the dream state, that's imagination, but that's connected to soul. Your imagination is your soul as well, more than we know.
And remembering
That's
to anchor
me.
and ground that in, darling, is the area that a lot of people is grounding in, grounding in, grounding in, grounding in, grounding and anchoring that in is the key.
Well, I have occasional issues, Anastacia, of grounding in, as you remind me. I can
look,
float off,
everybody,
but
everybody needs a reminder, sweetie. We all need to support and remind each other as we're working and feeling the energies. That's why it's good we're all coming here together. Kenneth, is there some things you want to ask? I can feel you ready to go. I'm here. I'm ready.
I'm in the moment. No, I'm just enjoying myself. I keep reminding myself that I'm on camera. I'm just like, just listening. He said it's different to be on this end of the spectrum on the interview. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm here, I'm present. But no, please continue.
That's beautiful. Well, I needed to hand over to someone. Marilyn, are we going to go into some of those things that you've written down now? Do you feel to do that?
I can read something out that I wrote a
Yes,
couple of years
please.
ago, if you would
Yes,
like.
please. Yeah.
Can you just let me know that you can hear me clearly?
Yes.
I am in awe of this magical lady with such precious energy, living with such integrity, from such unique, unconditional love. She is relentless as she gets her messages through, assisting those who are drawn to her. Drawn to her empowering techniques and teachings with life-saving skills for us all. The pure divine love which comes through is like nothing else. I just have to take a moment because I get deep and emotional. She is a blessing to mankind and the planetary healings that she so naturally does 24/7. I have watched her and worked alongside her, and she is the most incredible thing ever. It is an honor having her in my life. I am humbled to know her. I thank God every day that I have her in my life and she's my friend. I praise God that I am worthy as she leads by example with such ease. Well, it looks like such ease. It's a lot of work in the background, you know.
I make it look easy. That's one of my
Yeah,
sayings.
you
Is I know
do.
I make it look easy. It's not.
Her needs and the strength to get through everything she has given, her courage to be there for us in the most balanced and needed way. It is amazing how she rides the energy and just knows what to say to people and how to meet people where they're at. She lovingly gives advice with messages of the divine and visual interpretations, analogies, words, and wisdom until the person she is getting the message to grasps what it is that they need to know to go on to their next step for their journey. Just one little bit more. Last paragraph. We good?
Yes, beautiful.
Spirit has always shown me how she is spot on. As I will feel something or express something or know something or ask something, and she's like, ding, she's right there with me. Always knowing without knowing. That's how I've always known she's the real deal. She is genuine and she's from the divine. It is quite an incredible link, both magical and miraculous, which often brings us to emotion with such passion. Thanks, guys. That was
Thank
beautiful
you.
to share that.
Pick the rider.
Beautiful.
That was
Kenneth,
written in 2022.
Oh,
Oh,
was it?
wow.
Kenneth, I keep getting to hand this over to you, like you're holding the
gee.
little podcast now. Yeah, that's come a couple of times
It's just
now.
it's my energy. Again, I keep forgetting that I'm not hosting this. So I'm just
Well,
holding
yeah,
space.
but we all are, and that's the
Yeah,
beauty, because
it is.
I
I'm
want to
loving this energy.
remind again today, us coming here today, this isn't just the Voice to Heal isn't just a podcast, and this is no reflection to anybody else. We literally, the behind the scenes energy work it took for all of us to come here was massive to create this new energy. So I know this is a whole brand new experience for you too.
Yeah.
Like you said, you know, you were 2017, you were reading and resonating so strongly. What came through spirit through me, because it's all from above, you know. So when people talk and write stuff, I hear that you say me, but it's really spirit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, it's yeah. So no, it's just come a couple of times to hand over to you for a little bit for you to just sink in. Is there more questions that you would like to ask? This is,
Yeah.
or you're just happy for us to keep going with this flow because it's all just coming natural? This is over to you.
I started a podcast because I have nothing but questions, so I can easily always ask something.
What's your podcast about? I know it's
Everything.
yeah.
It's called Universal Talks, and it's something that's been years in the making because of just all the amazing connections that I have being a quantum healer and just people like you on media that I look up to, and not even look up to because that sounds, you know what I mean, though.
No, we know what you
I
mean. I look up
resonate
to
with,
people too.
yes.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
it's when you come from unconditional love, it's okay to say that because we're saying it in love and affection, and it goes
right.
both ways. There's a
Yes,
difference to, oh, you're a guru on a world stage, and a lot of people
exactly.
have put me there, and I go, I will just fall if you place me on that pedestal. Don't place anybody on the pedestal. So I just want to say to people, when you say it, I take it from a different space.
Yes, I know you do.
I feel, and I thank you so much because that means a lot to me to hear you say that, because the amount of times that I may not have been alive through going through so much to produce those posts took my life. And it really took my life's energy. So to hear you say that actually does mean a lot to me, because you were feeling the life-saving energies, because the amount of emails and people that contact me say this post, this update, I mean, it's further continuance for that beautiful soul for all they've been through, yet they quite often let me know this post changed my life, this changed my life. So I just wanted to share that. Ooh, releasing. So your podcast, yes.
Yeah, it's just so far it's just more interview style, just getting to know the guest. But I look forward to doing more things like this, more roundtables and just deep delves into more topics. So maybe I'll have all of you on.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
that
is
would
there
be honored.
anything else at the moment that comes to ask
Mm,
in particular? See, it's hard, isn't it, when we put on the
I'm
spot, because
I'm
we just
curious because you've been
mm.
doing this for decades.
Yeah.
How has your voice evolved as a healer and teacher and just guide over the decades?
What do you mean, has my voice evolved? In what way?
Because it's like you said, this is new for you to speak in this way and to share in this way. What is it that has shifted, would you say?
Because did any of Marinella or Chris, did you want to answer that at all, or is it for me?
I feel you could share like what it's been since you've come on live since like 2020, because that's been before then you were behind the scenes, and kind of from there until when you came out, that's where I feel that was the shift between you writing and then coming forward and speaking and bringing this through live in front of more of an audience. You feel what I'm saying?
With the videos, when I started
Yes,
doing the
with the
videos,
videos.
when
Yes,
Spirit
because
Guide would, yeah,
that's what changed. Yeah.
it was in 2020. You are correct. That's what changed. It came to a point that I know it was better uptaken and received for people to hear me voice what I'd been writing. So that shift in 2020 was massive. It took days. The amount of energy it took, I remember, Chris, hours and hours, like 6 hours just to break through darker energies just to get my voice through, was for people to then hear the energies, and to see me visually is a whole other level. So that was really big. And then this year was, I've written, all the words have been written, Spirit said. All the words have been written, being 20 years ahead. There's nothing left to write. It's rehashing the same old, yet with new energies coming in. So that role had finished. And then podcast. And now the podcast has come to take this to the next level, to which the Get Real and Feel Consciously, there is guests lined up about what they feel passionately they would like to table to voice to heal, because everyone that voices on a video in this energy has a life-changing healing. Today, for each of us, will help us on our journey. And I can say these words, but unless someone comes in this space and experiences, they won't quite fully get it. They're going to have to trust in what we're saying here, how big it is to voice to heal. Because also when we voice, Kenneth, we actually hear ourselves, and then we can consciously uptake when we voice. That is so powerful. The military abuse podcast that I just did, was very life-changing for me. And my first guest, Christina, actually wrote to me and said that was the first time she'd shared about her abuse in the military. And it was the first time in 30 years she could talk to a group of people in uniform, because she did the podcast with me, sharing about her abuse and trauma in the Royal Australian Air Force, which will be shared very soon. So does that help answer of why? Because it's just time. And souls also, they've got to, I've been providing and gifting, Spirit has been gifting and providing so much to people. So it's all sitting there ready for people to uptake it. And they've got to be ready for it. Whereas I can't hold that space anymore. I've got to keep moving with the new. And this is the new. The next step are the podcasts.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Whew. I want to share a brief intro. Is anybody getting anything else to share, or you're happy for me to keep moving? Keep moving?
Yeah.
A brief intro. I shared some things with somebody, and somebody put this together for me. I actually find that I need other people to write some of the things, because there's a lot of labels and terms that a lot of people won't understand. But let me go with a brief intro that someone wrote, that as a young girl in the 70s in Australia, Anastacia had a spiritual encounter and a vision, and was lifted up into the arms of Christ energies, and had a deep knowing that she was on a mission from God deep within. And I make light of that, and I say to my mum, like the Blues Brothers, Mum, I'm on a mission from God. Yet it's very true. I did get taken up in the arms of a Christ energy as a young girl. I was brought up Greek Orthodox, and I have an amazing mother who has very, very deep connection with God as well. And that has kept me alive, for whatever name you want to give, source, the divine, whatever, okay? It is source, the divine God, whatever name you want to give to unconditional love. Let me call it unconditional love, because I was asked once, well, what are you? Are you Buddhist? Are you Greek Orthodox? I said, actually, it's about unconditional love. You know, don't try and test me. It's about unconditional love, end of story, and living in neutrality as well. So I did know from a very young age that and I know so many are going to relate to this, but I'm just going to say, I felt different. I felt different. I was picking up things, and being a Blu-ray and deep empath that will pick up and feel everything in the whole family. Oh, that's another story about Blu-rays, okay? So let me continue here. So in service to humanity and Gaia, and that's what Marinella was sharing, that my life is living in service 24/7, literally, and it is. Okay, it's is there anything you want to ask about that anymore? Or do you want me to keep going, Kenneth?
No, please keep going.
As an ascending earth master, ascension pioneer, she is a trailblazer, way seer, and a Blu-ray monad one elder. So that divine energy that Marinella was talking about is because I come from my monad, which is a shade away from source and God, and that's why the information is pure. And it has taken me 20 to 30 years to feel consciously, to embody, to own that energetic title that was given to me. All these names have been given to me. I do not self-name. Okay, so that's a lot to take in. Her gift is having linked her soul to her spirit and higher self in having two souls. Yes, I had a near death, one of my many, many times of nearly not being here. Jesus came to me again with a rainbow in his palm, touched my palm, and I heard, you have your spiritual soul. So when I heard that, many years ago, before anything was written, like a lot of stuff that I went through, there was no books, there was no writing, there was some basic books around. Little did I know I would be bringing through new writing of what had not been written before, but not to be published, and that's okay. So I had to research I didn't know what it meant to be told you've got your spiritual soul. I couldn't find anything. There was no books. There was nothing on the internet until I found one article from the ancient Kabbalah texts that basically said, if you are gifted your spiritual soul, it's usually gifted to someone that's died. So you only get that gifted. So I was given this dispensation to receive my spirit as well as have my soul. So that's two souls, my spiritual soul. So I operate in two worlds. I've been living in two worlds for a very long time. That's why I've written before, from 3D to 5D, a walker of two worlds, because we are walking in two worlds. So I've been doing that for many moons, many years ahead of time. So it's also written here, Anastacia has access to connection to a monad over soul in 10D. We've spoken about that, which is the highest you can attain, being one of the 144,000 to assist humanity with the ascension. She's bringing through in human embodiment that's taken 30 years. I don't want to go over the same stuff over and over and over and over. So I'm just looking through here. Much of her writings that she scribes have never been written in the human before. They are beyond words. So I'm going to stop there because there's a lot of writing here and just say that what I share is actually beyond words. We're beyond words. And if you're not feeling, you're not conscious, you need to grow into this energy for yourself with your connection, for your soul and spirit journey that is unique for yourself. So that's what I've been guided to table and share right now. Whew. Okay, did anybody else want to share anything? It takes a lot to embody to read them out, because that energy that was read out, yeah. Kenneth, tell me what you're feeling.
I think Chris was going to say something. Did you have something to say, Chris?
Yeah, I'll go. So I could put a few more words to like all of that, Anastacia, just to be, you know, like put it like in the way that I feel, okay? And so like basically for me, the one thing that set you apart was, and it was really what Michael was talking about, was the grounding, because it's like with you, you can touch the sky, you know, it's like you can touch all the way to 10D, you know, like many people can't grasp that, but truly that's a feat in itself. But the difference is you link that to the human. And like for those of us on the outside that didn't even know you, that are a world apart, we could feel that, you know, that's what drew us in. That's what drew me in, because it was like you weren't just all talking about the spiritual and the astrals. You were talking about how to ground in and to actually approach this life and the things that affect us. Because, you know, it's like you're saying, for you, you know, it's spirit's one half, but you're truly the other half, because you're the one who chose to do this. You know, you're the one that has paid time after time with your body, your emotions, your mental, you know, all of that. That's the part of the human that all of us choose to bring into and ground into. And you know, that was the one thing that like really resonated with me, because you were so special in that sense of how you were raw and real. You know, it was like, and it's, you didn't cover it earlier, but it's that passion of like how when you first started, you know, you were hand typing things out and passing them out in person. That's the realness, you know, that's the embodiment, that's the grounding.
I was
So
walking
like, I
the
just
streets. Sorry, I
go
was
for it,
walking
go
the
for it.
streets, Kenneth. I was typing because 6 people resonated. I found, thank you, Chris. I found that I was saying something to someone and then I would say the same thing to the next person. And after 6 people, I went, whoa, I'm onto something here.
Yeah.
And then I started hand typing, as Chris said, and taking it to those people and handing out. Now, you want to talk fucking old school? That's old school.
Wow.
My mission is that. Oh, yeah. Keep going, Chris.
Boots
Love
on the
it.
ground.
Yeah, boots on the ground, baby.
Totally.
Get real and feel.
Get real and feel. Yep. And that's it. That's the thing, is like you said earlier, you know, we're all here today, but it's not just words, you know, we're all here to freaking live it, and to not only live it, but to show it so everybody else can feel it and resonate, you know, because once they do, that's how they know their own truth, and how we all know our own truth, separate from all the other influences that we see these days, you know. and not only that, but in the spiritual community and everything else, because as much as we'd like to be trusting, we can't be naive. We've all found that out, but true pierce energy and source, that's universal, and that's the one thing that sets you apart more than anybody else in the station.
Bless. Oh, you're beautiful. I'm feeling your love, Chris. Thank you. And little did I know, I really encourage people to watch episode 1 of the historical military abuse under the Voice to Heal podcast. There's 2 series. There's the Get Real and Feel Consciously and the military. And I really encourage people to listen, because that was part of my journey, was to join the military as well, to go through that abuse. And actually, as you said, boots on the ground. What did I do? I joined the military, didn't I? I had to. That my passion was to join, to have those experiences, was to trailblaze in the military as well, physically, not just talking about it, but to actually physically be the first female, and I'm pretty sure one of the first Greek Australian women to join the military as well in Australia, to actually change legislation in Parliament. There's the real proof. There's the real boots on the ground anchoring in. To then, after all this time, to then, to be photos of me with rifles and this, that, to be this peace-loving hippie type, not really, but to then have the PTSD, and then to come into this getting to know myself and being brave enough to feel in deeply, to process and release and heal. And oh my gosh, because so much is done behind the scenes that people won't see. Every day, wherever I go, there's healings. Everywhere I walk and go, I'm guided to. Every moment, every breath I take is living 24/7 in divine service. I digressed a bit, but thank you, Chris, for mentioning that, because I was getting the vision. Yes, and then you joined the Air Force and you went through as a trailblazer there too. You did 3 or 4 firsts for women in Australia that had not been done before. I had borrowed a men's uniform to march on a parade with a rifle because women hadn't done it before. And I was like, well, why can't I? I was very naive, and then all the backlash and all of that came. So yeah, Chris, thank you. It's nice to blend the 2 together. Any more, Chris? Keep going. This is fun.
And that was it, because it's like change doesn't come from talking alone, and that's what we see so much anymore.
Yeah.
It's like everybody wants to change the world, but nobody wants to take up,
Go with
the action and the work, carry the cross, And that's the thing, is like to like you said, just to link it, that's the key.
Yeah. Michael, would you like to share anything? Sorry, Kenneth, Chris, have you got more, Chris?
No, I'm good.
It's all right. I'll hit you later. I'll hit you up later for a bit more. Michael, is there anything you wanted to share? Anything? You've been with me for 20 years. Is there anything you'd like to share that comes? If not, that's okay too.
20 years of sharing the load, picking you up, you as well, through your emotions, being affected with things you had to confront, us at different times, us as partnership, us as, yeah. So even the gurus have to face the dark past.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. And if they don't, they're full of shit. Because, and the other thing, could you like I don't care, Kenneth. I will say whatever I want. It's my podcast. I will do and say whatever I want.
Amen.
Well, it's not really.
I started mine too. Yep.
No, and enough is enough. Yeah, what
So
you said, Michael.
I think the difference is a lot of these gurus don't face that. So then it's physical in the head. Yeah, but they'll have to come back.
Yep.
Karma's what's him, he, her, she, bitch, whatever. It'll come around in the spiral.
I can't believe you just said that. Well,
I don't know what to say anymore.
No, you did good. Oh, you did good. You did good. It's not whatever.
You don't know who you're going to offend when you say, "Oh, you're a woman." No, I'm not. You're
I
a mother.
know.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Especially in America. Or
Yeah.
maybe not now that Trump's in, because he's going to change it all back.
Anyway, don't go there, hon. Don't. No, no,
Anyway.
no. Let's shift that. I don't want that in here. No.
Anyway, a lot of the gurus, I suspect, are not actually doing that, or they may do it to a certain point, but not go to the final of that aspect, and it's just going to come around.
Well, it could be part of their journey as well, but also there's a message in that, Michael, if you don't mind me adding that there's more people. There is more. 2025 brought in a whole new level of consciousness that we've never reached before. Never reached before. And I have been guided, which is really interesting. Kenneth, are you getting to say anything at the moment?
I'm having a download to talk about like aliens a little bit. With what you said, I feel like that's why we're at a resonance where the contact is becoming more and more frequent. It's because we're at a frequency, I feel like, to just have the contact because they're always here. They
Okay.
always have been. It's just, yeah. That's just, I'm a nerd though, so I always go there.
I love nerds. I
Right.
love nerds.
You
I
have
say
to.
nerd as a compliment. It is the biggest
It is.
compliment to say someone's a nerd. I go, oh God, Michael's a nerd. I love nerds. Love nerds. Love it. Love it. Well, I love, yeah. What's there not to
Yeah.
love? I thank you for sharing that. There's a couple of things I want to share. I just want to say to everybody, people ask me about what's a good method of protection, of protecting your energy. I've got some things to say here, people. You can wear pendants, you can wear crystals, you can do visualizations, you can do your clearings like we all do. Yet the further you grow and the further along you go, you realize that our consciousness and not being in fear is the highest light and protection you can bring to darkness, negative energies, and attachments. This is a golden message right here. This is one that, like when I started years ago, peddling the streets with my little updates. This is really, really important that your consciousness is your highest form of protection. I have so many people say, and this has come into me and that has got control of me. No, that's in your head. No, your consciousness and not being in fear is your greatest form of protection. I just wanted to add that in. It's really, really important.
Mm. I remember one of your protections from years ago. It was like imagine like a wheel going over you and the spokes and just bringing all your
wagon wheel.
Yes. Yeah, I still to that day or to this day I use that. Yeah.
A lot of people use the wagon wheel method. It's to bring your energy. My latest one, hey, Kenneth, is give yourself a hug.
Yes,
And
I like that.
That's the wagon wheel condensed, because you just give yourself a hug and you just pat. And this is a good one for everyone. Morning and night, you just do this. And what it does is your energy goes,
Yep.
brings, especially for those of us that have big energies. So you actually got to physically do this, you know?
Yeah, I love it.
They're all ones that, and all the sayings, knowing and experiencing are worlds apart. Isn't that coming into play here? That was created years ago, years and years ago. Spirit, there's so many sayings, so many methods, all from the ground up, from scratch through personal experience that are unique. Kenneth, is there anything else?
I mean, I can just ask another random question.
You can, if that's, well, we'll see. And if we're meant to go that path, because I'm guided to ask Marinella, then I'm guided to read the bit of an update of what's happening at the moment, which has surprised me. So that's what I'm feeling at the moment, Kenneth. So if you're getting to ask something, go for it, because I feel that we're starting to wind up too. Can you feel that?
Yeah, we can go to Marinella. I'm curious.
Yeah, Marinella, have you got anything else to share, darling, about anything?
I was just going to add the ailments that you've gone through as well, to add to what Michael and Chris was saying, you know, on the physical level. I mean, we've watched you go through so much.
Yeah, people
have shared with us over the years. Yep.
Yeah, keep going, darling.
No, I just wanted to add that, and I wanted to add the slow down to catch up with yourself phrase, which is one of my favorites and one that's really helped me. It's taken me years to really slow down. And that's always been one of my favorites. or putting the cart before the horse.
That's another saying that's helped many. Yeah, you're putting the cart
Just
before the horse.
priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the slow down to catch up with yourself is also, thank you, Marinella, because in spirit, we're go, 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 go. We don't need to rest or sleep. So that's your ethereal self is go, 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 go. You're receiving information all the time. We've got to ask for things to slow down. I just want to remind people to slow it down, because we have this amazing energy up here full on, and we've got a small little opening in our crown. So we want all this energy. It can't all cram into here. So when we breathe, visualize the energy from spirit to soul streamlining in with your breath, calms you down, reminds us to slow the F down, to catch up with ourselves, because now is a time for slowing down, not speeding up. Things have sped up, so we have to slow down to cope. And as Marinella said, it takes a while. It took me 4 years to slow down, to stop writing updates. 4 years to wind down, wind down. That was my role with everything I was doing as an example. So it takes time. Chris?
And I just want to elaborate on this, Anastasia, because it's very important, I feel, to share that this work and ascension isn't without consequences, you know, and exactly what Marinella was saying, like the behind the scenes, many don't know what you have endured physically, from fibromyalgia to everything else. You know, you're still finding things out this year alone, you know, from your trauma. But not only does it, and we have to honor that we are still human, you know, we have to take care of our body, and we are still like finite, you know, we live in a finite energy space. So along with that, we cannot, if we're not careful and conscious, we will burn ourselves out on one layer or level somewhere, you know, if we're not honoring ourselves as a human being. Not only that, am I still? Yeah, okay. Not only that, but I also want to mention that we can also take a toll on the spiritual. Like one thing we didn't share today was how you were attacked spiritually from the spiritual community. And I just want to share that because that's something
Okay, just
important
pause,
too.
Chris. We can make another one, or we can cover this today. So what are you guys going to choose? Because I don't want to reopen this up again. I
feel
am
this is a lot.
wondering, because most people's concentration is for 45 minutes to an hour. So we've reached coming up to an hour, guys. So I'm asking you live, and that doesn't bother me. Do you guys want to continue sharing about this? Michael, if you feel you need to get off, but if you'd like to say, it's up to you, whatever you do.
I probably need to get off and go back to work soon.
Yeah.
But I think with people's attention spans now, the 45 minutes to an hour is great. Your conversation could go for another half hour. People are going to start to lose themselves.
Mhm.
So maybe a second meeting up,
Okay, thanks for your input, Dale.
maybe a follow-up in a couple of weeks.
Yep, I'll sit with it.
Hmm.
I feel to cover those two little things that Chris said now, though, at the same
Real quick,
time.
yeah, it won't be much, I feel.
Yeah. Chris, you go with it. You started it.
Okay, totally. And so like I'll just share what it was for Anastasia, you know, like
Thank you.
she was totally guided to hold space for this conference. And again, this conference was some of the biggest names that we all know, you know. And so being that she was guided by spirit, you know, and this is another thing many people won't know, was she wasn't in the top health to begin with when she was there. You know, she had the flu. So on top of that, she went and held space for this whole convention. And on stage is where she was attacked physically. I mean, you know, on all levels, basically, where it shattered her. And that is just something I want to make known, because I feel it's like we can't, like, again, like I said earlier, we can't be naive. And we just have to know that everything that we do here is with a purpose. It's guided by spirit, but we have to embody it in the human. and we always have to be wise with everything that we do, you know.
Chris, I will add here, thank you for adding that, because I can now share that, yes, the darker energies above definitely did not want me to speak at Uluru, the solar plexus of the world. I went there, were very naive with, I'd been behind the scenes with so many health issues while I was writing updates. And that's what you and Marinella, you know what I've gone through, because everyone feels that once you can heal everything with spiritual energy, the reality of embodying is what's going to slam a lot of people this year. And I say that that's energy information. I've written about this. Watch by the middle of the year, those that are not slowing down to take care of the physical. People are forgetting the physical, spirit, soul, mental, emotional. The last place you anchor and ground is the physical. Many are finding big health issues now. So a big part is slowing down to take care of your physical. If you need to go to a doctor to get tests to see, do it. I utilize all natural therapies and acupuncture, everything, yet I also utilize doctors to get blood test results to help myself the best way possible. Okay. So I went to this conference with a beautiful, loving, unconditional, loving heart, and didn't I have a rude shock of the egos, the bullying. The egos is the main one. And I'm not getting to share much more than I've got to be careful in what I say here, Chris.
And
all
I'll
I
just
want
say
to
this.
say, you do it.
Okay. And really what it is, Anastacia, is we're not here to judge, but we'll damn sure call anything out if it's not of the light. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we always come from a loving space, no matter, unconditional loving space, no matter what.
Thank you. So what happened at the conference, I was accused of going there for my means to promote myself, my business. Everybody was thanked at the end. I was not even thanked, nothing. I kept the couple together that held this conference, and I was just attacked. And what it was in hindsight was, it was all of their stuff. I'm a giant mirror of the divine. And it took me a long time to learn this, everybody, that just by me going out, my energy will flick light to people. And I actually had a spirit guide drawing that is behind me that she actually said that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I knew that. So wherever I go, my energy will flick light, and people it'll react to their negative energies, because I'm just a pure vessel. So it's taken a long time to learn how to deal with that. And I know people have elements of that, being the light wherever they go as well, that they can relate to that. Okay, so I still can't say much more about that conference, but just behind the scenes, I pulled away. I will say, and I say this confidently, that most, I've got to be careful here, the more authentic souls that are delivering are more behind the scenes than what's up out there. You need to be a seeker for your soul and go seek them. There, I just did it in that way. That's what I have found. Yep, Chris?
Boom. That's all I said.
Yeah, and it was, yeah. So about my health, it's up to you guys if you want to share any more. I thank you for highlighting about the physical health, because I've even done videos and updates while I've been in hospital. That's what they're trying to say. My legs collapsed 4 years ago, and I was still doing videos and updates from hospital. I didn't make a big hoo-ha about it though. I didn't, you know what I mean? But that's just how we roll. And that's what these souls are saying. They've seen me. Michael has seen me in bed in hospital, looking after our son, feeding me, looking after me while I'm doing updates. And it's just phenomenal what has happened behind the scenes. Yes, there is a lot to what I brought through. Is there anything else, Chris? That was beautiful.
No, I feel that was great.
It's important to bring light to that about Marinella. Anything else?
Oh, we've done well to cover everything.
Kenneth, is there anything else that you'd like to?
No.
Would you like to
I
hear a
can,
little bit
I
about?
just keep going for hours and hours, which is why I
I know,
started
same,
the podcast. So.
same. That's yeah. I'm hearing you, bro. I am getting to share at the moment. It's very interesting. I'm getting to share a little bit of what's happening at the moment.
Yes.
What's happening is in relation to what we're sharing about, that what we didn't lived through in past lives, everything that's being released from all past lives is coming to an apex of when we didn't make it through in a past life. Now, this is massive because we have two timelines running at once at the moment. We have an older timeline and a new timeline. And what's happening? There's an overspill happening. This only came to light this week. Okay, so this is, you know, so what's happening at the moment with the old timeline and the new one, there's an overspill happening. So the message is to pause. What's happened?
We lost you for about a minute.
You
lost what,
froze.
sorry?
When you said pause, you froze, but you're back now.
Oh,
Yeah, you
okay.
said pause and you froze for.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's saying get off and stop talking. Thanks, Mike. Anyway, so there's two timelines at the moment and there's an overspill happening. Pause, pull back, have a feel, and give yourself that space to create a new path for yourself forward. There you go. Put it in a nutshell simply. That's what's happening at the moment. That can be life-changing for someone that needs to hear that to go, oh my gosh, that's the golden answer. Look at Kenneth. Yes. What did you feel with that, Kenneth?
Just all the feels. I always resonate. Yeah. It's
You do.
like we share the physical ailments are rampant right now because of just it shows who hasn't done the work, perhaps. And so it's just manifesting in a physical way.
Yes, you could say that. It's also that souls have reached a place where they're now releasing in this lifetime too. So it could be from that, but it's also, you could say would you say that I haven't done the work, so that's why I'm releasing on the physical? No, you wouldn't say that. Part of the process of releasing on the physical of ascension is releasing through the physical. And there's something releasing through you and what you just said then. I just felt that. Whatever that was, that's shifting for you. I was hoping these healings wouldn't come, but we had to get one in, didn't we? We had to get one in live, Kenneth. So that's just cleansing your energy right now with what you just shared then. So that was something for you that you had going on, brother. And thank you for letting me say that publicly, because to show people this is how we flow. So I'm going to wind this up. Is there anything that anyone else would like to say? No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you for everyone coming, and thank you, Kenneth. And if there's any more, Kenneth, from this that you feel, as you said, you might be asking, if you feel there's anything else from this that you would like to ask and hone in on, you just let me know. And thank you for asking, and thank you for resonating for as long as you have, brother, because I always say we're side by side.
Yes. Yes.
Always. And thank you, Michael, Marinella, and Chris for being part of my beautiful spiritual family, because we are creating new unity energies with us coming here today, and we have more speakers coming in further episodes from here as well, which I'm really excited. Souls really resonated to. Corey will be talking about birthing. We've got Stephen that will be talking about prescription drug addiction and embodying, which will be interesting because I also had quite a few strong addictions that I've come through as well. So that'll be juicy. Beautiful Rachel is going to talk about Indigenous children and abuse and the kidnapped generation. I said stolen. She said they call it more being kidnapped. So that's pretty big. And then Erin is going to talk about consciousness transfer. So there is more souls that are really feeling strongly to voice, to heal, so that will help everybody. So thank you everybody for joining and listening, and all of you beautiful souls for joining. And Kenneth, thank you for asking at the time that we felt to create these new energies moving forward. And if we do any more from here, we will be let know.
Yes.
So thank you, everybody. Love and blessings. Now remember, get real and feel consciously. Wiggle your feet often to remind yourself to ground in. Be brave enough to start feeling, to heal further. And know that Spirit's got you and with you, and that you're definitely not alone. And there's many of us here that are behind the scenes right here with you. because really we are bringing through a new unity for all of us to create new earth, because it comes from within, not outside, people. Okay? Get real and feel consciously. So much love to you all. Bless. AnastasiaBlueBeyondGuide.com. My email address, theoraclespeaks@bigbond.com. If anybody wishes to book in for a one-on-one, because they are still on offer. I don't know for how long. Because all right, everybody. Cheers. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.